Good morning, everyone. It's a Sunday morning. I'm sitting here with my Course in Miracles lessons and a cup of coffee, and I was reading the incredible lesson 135. If I defend myself, I'm attacked. It's such an incredible lesson because listen to this first part. It says, who would defend himself unless he thought he were attacked, that the attack were real, and that his own defense could save himself? The first lesson gets you right back to your own belief system. Why do you offend yourself? Because you think you're going to be attacked. And that's, of course, where the correction has to occur. You gotta change your beliefs. You gotta change that mindset where you constantly think, and this is the human condition, that you're being attacked. Doesn't by the world, right? You haven't forgiven the world because you think it's attacking you in whatever form. Someone or something or some happening, right, is going to attack you, and you operate from that belief continuously, right? You continuously have your mindset on the future, and you're coming from an old past idea from being attacked, and you know it's going to come, right? Instead of what? Just resting here now. Letting go of that belief that you're going to be attacked, but just being here now. What an amazing lesson, huh? What else? And here lies the folly of defense. It gives illusions full reality and then attempts to handle them as real, right? It's an illusion that you're being attacked. It's not real. But the belief comes from the idea of your first attack upon yourself. Correct? That belief comes from when you make your first attack upon yourself and you projected that attack out there. You call it the world. And now you think the world is going to attack you because what? You projected that attack on the world. So the correction has to occur right here. Correct? Let go of the idea that you're being attacked. Come into a here and now. Right? Know that you'll be perfectly provided for. There is a God. And then let go of that. And because truly, if you did not believe you were attacked, you would be here now. There wouldn't be a future that would you be concerned about. You would just be here now. It adds illusion to illusions, thus making correction doubly difficult. And listen to this. This is a tough one, but this is true. And it is this you do when you attempt to plan for the future, activate the past, or organize the present as you wish. That's a tough one. So he says you're planning or you're defending yourself if you're planning for the future. If you're activating the past, you go back and you remind yourself what happened, or even organizing the present as you wish. Right? Why would you need to do anything unless you knew you were perfectly provided for and not being attacked? Why would you not be perfectly resting in God? There's always that attack that you need to provide for yourself, that you need to defend yourself, that you need to protect yourself. Now, here it is. You operate from the belief that you must protect yourself from what is happening, because it must contain what threatens you. This is true. This is the human condition. Listen, this is why you're here. This is why you're learning. This is why you're waking up. You do indeed operate from that belief. Huh? And it requires some honesty to admit that. But that's the first step. The first step is you're going to have to admit that you operate from that belief, because that's the belief to be undone. Huh? A sense of threat is an acknowledgement of an inherent weakness, a belief that there's a danger which has the power to call on you to make appropriate defense. Right? Because what happens? The fact that you think there's a threat that you must defend yourself against means you're weak. It can hurt you. It can attack you. That means you're identifying with a self that is not so. That is not the self that God created. That is not who you truly are. Again, right? You are as God created you. We need to undo the belief in what you think you are so that you can have a real experience of what you truly are. That's what this lesson says. The world is based on this insane belief. This is true. This is what the world believes. It's the whole basis of it. And all its structures, all its thoughts and doubts, its penalties and heavy armaments, its legal definitions and its codes, its ethics and its leaders and its God, all serve but to preserve its sense of threat. I love that. Everything out there has as its purpose to make you believe that you're being threatened. Who put it out there? Say me. You, right? You put it out there. Nothing is really out there. What you're seeing are your own thoughts projected outward. Hmm? For no one walks the world in armature, but must have terror striking at its heart. Hmm? Everyone who walks this world has terror in him, right? Is protecting himself, is expecting an attack. So what happens when you wake up? You perceive yourself as the image maker. You perceive yourself as the cause of that threat. You look at your own thoughts and your belief system and you notice that there is indeed that sense of threat. And now the practice comes letting it go because you're not being threatened at all. It's impossible you be threatened because there is a God. He created you whole and perfect, and if you're whole and perfect, you cannot be threatened. Because there is no world. The world is just your belief about yourself, seeing it out there, right? So that you can subtract yourself from it. You can then think you're being attacked by something, right? And you've forgotten real conveniently that you put it out there and told it to attack you. Amazing, huh? Let me just skip a little bit here. What a beautiful lesson. So what he's then going to say, he says then let's see what you're defending, right? It's the belief that you're a body, right? You believe you identify with the body, and the body is of course frail, right? In your idea of yourself, if you identify with this thing and you think this is going to keep you safe, which you do, right? You need to defend yourself. You need to take medicine. You need to take food. You need all these laws in space time that you've set up for yourself, and you need it to sustain yourself. But the fact of the matter is, none of that sustains you. You're sustained by the love of God and only by the love of God. Huh? Because identifying with the body is what the problem is. You're not a body, you're mind. You're not this thing, right? It's just a mechanism, it's just a tool for a moment to fulfill your function here on earth, but it has nothing to do with what you truly are. It needs no defense, it needs no, as he so beautifully points out in this lesson, health inducing medicine. It needs no care or concern at all. It just needs the recognition that it is not you that right, it's not you, this body, right? Your constant um, um, idea that you're this body, right, is what the problem is. So now it's simply the idea of, okay, remind yourself you're not that. You're not this body. It's just a tool, your mind. You're the thing thinking, right? You're that, right? That mechanism of thought, right? So we need to open up our thoughts and our beliefs, right, in your transformation, in your awakening, to allow for that shift in thought to take place, correct? And of course, that is your that is the practice of this workbook, and it's so beautiful, right? It says the body is in need of no defense. This cannot be too often emphasized. It will be strong and healthy if the mind does not abuse it by assigning to it the roles that it cannot fill, to purposes beyond its scope, and to exalted aims which it cannot accomplish. The self that needs protection is not real. Amazing. Defend the body, and if you've attacked your mind. Isn't that amazing? That the moment you start defending your body, which seems to be the thing to do, because everyone here does it, don't they? And yet that is the thing that makes you attack yourself. You attack your mind, and then you wonder why you get sick, and you wonder why you're fearful, and you wonder why you're vulnerable, and you wonder why you're not at peace and happy, because you attack yourself constantly by defending the body. It needs no defense. Right? It cannot get sick. It cannot get tired. It cannot get old. And you go like, sure it can. I can see myself getting old. Always goes back to your beliefs, doesn't it? You're always being redirected to your own beliefs about yourself. I've emphasized many times how the belief system that this course is teaching is the opposite in any way of the belief systems of the world. In every way, they do not meet. And you're being invited to step out in the universe by training your mind according to this new thought system. It's going to be radical because it's the opposite of the thinking of the world. And what can be more radical than learning an entirely new thought system that is in every way the opposite of the world's thinking? The two don't meet. You can't partially accept this. You can't go like, well, I'm going to learn some of these ideas, but I'm going to hold on to some of my worldly ideas. That's not going to work because they're each other's opposite. They're going to conflict. And you're going to then think, well, this is a hard course, right? But it isn't. Why isn't it? Well, it's only hard if you're trying to somehow merge this with your old thought system. That's why it would be hard. That would be hard because it's impossible, right? But this entirely new way of thinking, that has to be your own. And you're going to run into your own resistance. You're going to run in your own, right? Your own ideas about yourself that you're not willing to let go. So what? Look at them again. And remind yourself again why you're doing this. Remind yourself again that either this is completely true or not true at all. Remind yourself again who the source is that this is coming from. Remind yourself how your old thought system has served you up to this point. And you'll go like, yeah, it hasn't served me well, right? I have not been happy. I have been suffering, right? So this is truly an invitation to walk through a portal that's set up for you in space-time and experience you as you truly are, experience the wholeness of you. And yes, it's going to be uncomfortable for a moment because it's new. He calls it these ancient new ideas. They're as ancient as time itself because they're from out of time. And yet they're new to you because you've forgotten them. Right? But you're being invited out in the universe. How are you divided out in the universe? By letting go of your old thought system. Right? By adopting this new thought system, which is true, and therefore by unlocking in yourself the potential of the power of God, the power of mind, the power of the universe that's always been yours. There's nothing opposing you. Power does not oppose. It's impossible, right? That you're being opposed by anything but your own thoughts. You're only affected by your own thoughts. This world is not opposing you in any way. It's impossible that it's doing anything to you because it's merely an effect, right? It's not cause. It's not causing you. There's no evil force out there working against you. It's just you opposing yourself within your own mind by your own thoughts. And of course, again, that's where the mind training comes in. That's where the practice comes in. An untrained mind truly can accomplish nothing, as he so beautifully states at the onset of the workbook. This is you being determined within your own mind to get this. Right? I want this. I want what this offers. I have enough of what the world has been offering me. I know that that's causing me pain, causing me to get old, sick, and die. I want what this offers me because this tells me about myself. And somewhere in your mind, something right in you knows that this is true. Maybe you don't know exactly what it is that recognizes that this is true, but you wouldn't be watching this video. Certainly not up to this point if you believe that this is true. You recognize this somewhere in a place in the mind that maybe you're not quite aware of, but you know this is true. So that's why you keep listening. That's why you keep practicing, because despite maybe some initial struggles in letting go of your old reference of space-time in the world, once you start relying on the new reference of light, the new reference, when you start getting that, okay, I just need to trust this, right? I need to just let go for a moment, right? You see how incredibly easy this becomes, because it is. I love how he somewhere says, and I've forgotten where exactly he says, this is as easy as walking down a path in the summer sloping downhill, right? You know, I love that experience because truly it is that easy. It's effortless because it's natural, and it's the only natural thing in the world. Healing is the only natural thing in the world. What a beautiful lesson. It says, defend the body and you've attacked your mind, for you have seen in it its faults, its weaknesses, its limits, the lack from which you think the body must be saved. You will not see the mind as separate from bodily conditions. Amazing, huh? And then he goes like a healed mind does not plan. Love that, right? You're so used to planning here, right? The things you want in the future, instead of just being here now where all the peace of God is in this very moment. This is nothing new. Eastern religion has been telling you for a very long time, correct? That here and now is where the solution is. This is nothing new, right? A healed mind does not plan. You're being invited into the here and now where everything is. Huh? It carries out the plans that it receives through listening to wisdom that is not its own. It waits until it has been taught what should be done and then proceeds to do it. It does not depend upon itself for anything except its adequacy to fulfill the plans assigned to it. I love it. It is secure in certainty that obstacles cannot impede its progress to accomplishment of any goal that serves the greater plan established for the good of everyone. Right? You're not just doing this for your own idea about yourself. You're doing this for the greater plan. You're doing this for the overall plan, right, that's been established out of time for your salvation in general, right, in its entirety, which includes everything and everyone. You have a role to fill, and it's an important one. It's essential, right? Your plan is essential to God's plan for salvation. This is one of the lessons. A healed mind is relieved of the belief that it must plan. When you let these thoughts kind of find a place, right? These ideas find a place among your thoughts, and let them sit there for a moment. Let it reverberate around your belief system, right? And then make it your own. Accept it, right? One line like this has more to teach you than just keep reading, right? Where you just skip over every thought because there's so much energy into it. A healed mind is relieved of the belief that it must plan, although it cannot know the outcome which is best. The means by which it is achieved know how to recognize the problem that the plan is made to solve. I love that. You don't know what anything is for. You don't know how this is going to work out. You just trust and sit back and allow it to happen. Huh? Step back and let Him lead the way. I will choose the second place to gain the first. Right? All those ideas where you just step back and trust. And then he goes into why it is perhaps not easy to perceive that self-initiated plans are but defenses, with the purpose all of them were made to serve. They are the means. Why? Okay. Why are self-initiated plans defenses? They are the means by which a frightened mind would undertake its own protection at the cost of truth. Right? You don't think God is going to take care of you. You do not think that you'll be perfectly taken care of in any single moment. Instead, you go like, well, I better take care of myself, better protect myself in my body. None of that is true. And as a matter of fact, it's the opposite of being protected. It's how you attack yourself, and that's a certain way you're going to be attacking yourself and experience fear. Yeah? What does he say? Fear is a sure sign. Right? Fear is a sure sign that you're relying on your own strength instead of the strength of God. Love it. Love it. The mind engaged in planning for itself is occupied in setting up control of future happenings. It does not think that it will be provided for unless it makes its own provisions. Amazing. I'm just reading a couple of lines here. Just let them sink in for a moment. The mind that plans is just refusing to allow for change. Amazing, huh? Let it change. Let it change. The mind that plans doesn't want to change. It wants to keep the little that it has. And that's keep everything out, right? No. Let it change, right? Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it, right? Just be here now. What it has learned, you use your own past learning, right? Before becomes a basis for its future goals. Its past experience directs its choice of what will happen. And it does not see that here and now is everything it needs to guarantee a future quite unlike the past. There it is. Right here and now is everything you'll need to make sure that everything will be different. It's that simple. And without a continuity of any old ideas and sick beliefs. I love that. Right? Because that's what you're trying to get rid of. Remind yourself continuously what it is that you're trying to get rid of. You're trying to get rid of these old ideas. All right? It's that simple. It's that simple. I love this line. This is one of my favorite lines in A Course in Miracles. What could you not accept if you but knew that everything that happens, ready? All events, past, present, and to come, are gently planned by one whose only purpose is your good. Don't you love that? That's it right there. What do you think could possibly happen? Hmm? Perhaps you have misunderstood his plan, for he would never offer pain to you. But your defenses did not let you see his loving blessing shine in every step you took. That's it. That's it, right? There is no other, there's nothing else you need to remember. What if you knew? What if you knew? And then finally, let's read one more line. Without defenses, you become a light which heaven gratefully acknowledged to be his own. And it will lead you on in ways appointed for your happiness according to the ancient plan. I love that, the ancient plan, right? Begun when time was born, right? The moment you of your first attack upon yourself, the plan was set in motion for your salvation. What an amazing. Your followers will join the light with yours, and it will be increased until the world is lighted up with joy. And gladly will our brothers lay aside their cumbersome defenses, which availed them nothing and could only terrify. What a beautiful lesson are you being given here in this particular plan of awakening. Because this has been given to you to lead you out of here. This has been given you to make you aware that finally you are still home in heaven and you're just asleep. Right? And now you're waking up and you're applying these new ideas, these ancient new ideas that are simply expanding your awareness of yourself to the realization that you're all of it, that you're home in heaven, that you're whole and perfect as God created you, and that none of this is so. And in that awakening is your complete release. Thank you for joining me here today. I hope you have a great, great day, wherever and whenever you are. And I'll see you everywhere.